Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Data here, and welcome to live coverage of the 2022 NHL Free Agent Frenzy. We're a half hour away from 12 o'clock Eastern, which will be the beginning officially of free agency. Although we do know a lot of things that have already happened or will happen. Officially teams can only begin speaking at 12 or whatever. We already know a lot of deals are in place. Teams have been making moves, trading in and trading away players to free up cap space, to dump cap, to try and make a run at certain players, to free up certain positions. You look at the Washington Capitals, for example, who have dumped Vanacek and Samsonov in recent days, knowing that Darcy Kemper is likely going to be signed. Welcome aboard, everyone. What's good? I'm doing very well. Yes, sir. Hope you're doing well. Vinny, welcome aboard as well. As we get started with today's coverage, which will go probably until about 1 p.m. Eastern. We'll start off free agency at 12 o'clock, and then we'll get things started at 1. But before we hit 12 o'clock, there is a lot of news that we can recap in the NHL, going all the way back to, I guess, yesterday, you could say. And breaking news right now, Kevin Weeks saying that Andrew Brunette is signing a 3-year deal to join the the New Jersey Devils coaching staff. So that's going to be huge right there. Renaud Lavoie saying the Montreal Canadiens are trying to trade Jeff Petrie right now. A trade between the Sharks and the Hurricanes to move Brent Burns to Carolina is also trying to get worked out right now. So many things are in the works, not just we're waiting for it to happen. It's actually happening, and we're just waiting for those final touches here. For example, Brent Burns with his no trade clause. Eric Howla earlier today traded from Boston to New Jersey for Pavel Zacha. And then moving back to yesterday, as I wanted to say, we had the re-signing of Genny Malkin in Pittsburgh, a 4-year deal, paying him $6.1 million per year. Other smaller moves: Alex Edler re-signing in LA, Vinny Hinostroza signing in Buffalo, stuff like that. But then starting today, we've already had re-signings of Evander Kane in Edmonton, as he signed a 4-year contract, paying him over $5 million per year. Darren Helm re-signed in Colorado, 1 year at 1.25. Josh Manson re-signing in Colorado, 4 years, $18 million, paying him 4.5 per year. The big one is the St. Louis Blues re-signing Robert Thomas to an 8-year extension, $64 million. So he'll get paid about $8 million per year. Mackenzie, welcome aboard as well. It's going to be a good one right here. Good evening to our friends across the pond, Janne over in Finland. Thank you very much for joining us. So a huge deal for St. Louis there as Robert Thomas signs on for 8 years. We'll break that down a bit more later on. Kuzmenko officially signing with Vancouver. Some other minor league deals like the Canadiens signing Alex Belzil and Joel Teasdale. Stuff like that. But what I wanted to get to right now is to start to look at some of the big fish here. We've already had some big moves for the big fish. Who's going to be picking up Peyton Wilm? I guess we'll have to see on that one. It depends on what team is in need of a goalie after Kemper and Campbell and dust settles right there. So I'll let you know on that one, Frank. Thank you very much. So looking at the fish out here, Johnny Gaudreau, if I had to put money on it, I'd say that he's likely going to the New Jersey Devils. He would like, I think, to go to Philadelphia, but unless the Flyers are going to move their 2023 first-round pick, that's just not going to happen because the Flyers need to dump JVR's contract with that pick. So if they don't want to move that pick, they're not going to dump JVR. Now, they can't dump JVR, they're not going to get Johnny Gaudreau. Nazem Kadri, I can't say whether, I don't know. I don't know where Nazem Kadri is going to go. There's a lot of teams that are going to be a bit desperate because Vincent Trocheck likely going to New York, Claude Giroux likely going to Ottawa, Andrew Kopp likely going to Detroit. The teams that need a centerman, those backup plans, if Nazem Kadri doesn't work out, that just got a lot tighter because the backup plan now becomes who? Like, I don't know, Ryan Strome, I guess? You need to really be all in on Nazem Kadri right now. So taking the backups off the market really gave him more leverage in negotiations. Malkin re-signing, that was great. Ryan Strome's going to be a free agent. Palat, Perron, Burakovsky, free agents. Evander Kane re-signing. Josh Manson re-signing. Darcy Kemper, very likely off to the Washington Capitals. Jack Campbell, very likely off to the Edmonton Oilers. John Klingberg, there's a lot of discussion around John Klingberg. So can't say whether or not we know where he's going just yet. Carolina seemed to be in the mix. Seattle also in the mix for John Klingberg, I believe. Ilya Samsonov will be going to the Toronto Maple Leafs. So a lot of Maple Leafs fans are going to be a lot more comfortable with their goaltending situation. Absolutely. I spoke about that in the Matt Murray breakdown when he was traded to the Maple Leafs. if you want to go Murray and Shalgren, it's a bit scary. But to sign Ilya Samsonov, a guy who's going to be solid in sharing starts with Murray and even be your potential future starter, like of a very long-term future. I believe in Ilya Samsonov to be a full-time starter in the NHL in the future, maybe even an elite one. So I don't know if I like the Capitals dropping Samsonov and Vanacek, two good young goalies, to go in on Darcy Kemper, a goalie who honestly I don't really believe in that much. So I don't think I like what Washington's doing right there. And we're going to see if that works out for them. But Samsonov to Toronto, that is a huge move for the Maple Leafs. A lot of Leafs fans are going to be a lot more comfortable with their goaltending after this. Talking about Kadri there. Huge deal for Robert Thomas, breaking that one down a little bit. If you're curious about why he got 8 years, $8 million, aside from statistics, he had an excellent breakout season, 70th percentile for wins above replacement there. Great offense, great defense, 98th percentile for primary assists, solid on the penalty kill against high competition as well. If you look at these other microstats as well, really good stuff like the pass entries and carry exits, things like that are really important when it comes down to the nitty-gritties. Robert Thomas had a fantastic season. Now the question is, can he sustain that at an $8 million cap hit? This is going to be a deal that the Blues either look back on saying it's a good thing we locked him up, or they look back on it a little bit curiously. The other information here we had throughout the day, cop to Detroit, Mason Marchment going to free agency from Florida. That happened. That is happening at 12 o'clock. And of course, Johnny Gaudreau informing the Flames that he will not be coming back. Big deal for the Devils as they move out Pavel Zacha to bring in Haula because they want presumably to free up cap space for Johnny Gaudreau. There's just gonna be a lot of refreshing Twitter. Today. Avalanche re-signing Helm, all that. 37th percentile, solid defensive guy, fourth liner, penalty killer. Good moves for the Avalanche when we're trying to run it back. They get Cogliano, they get Helm, they get Manson, they get Nichushkin. Pretty much, it's only the Avalanche are only really losing Nazem Kadri, right? They're still going to be good. They're still going to have a lot of their core together. A lot of people thought that that they're going to be missing out on a lot of these players. Wins above replacement. So basically, and it's not something, I'm not an advanced analytics guy, but how I understand wins above replacement, it's that let's say you have a Connor McDavid. The replacement level for Connor McDavid, or for a forward, is 13th forward. So replace Connor McDavid with a 13th forward, and then compare McDavid's performance to them. That's how many wins above the replacement level player McDavid gets you. So if McDavid gets you 10 wins above replacement, that's to say that if you put a 13th forward in McDavid's spot, you'd be winning 10 less games. So with McDavid, you're winning 10 more games than you would with a replacement level player. For defense, I believe that's with a 7th defenseman, and with goalie, that's with a 3rd goalie. So that's the replacement level. That's how I understand it. So you want to have, obviously, the more wins above replacement and the higher percentile that you're in, the more valuable you are to your team, because you're not just easily replaceable by someone. Even if it's someone who's also NHL caliber, you're not easily replaceable if you're the reason, if you're having that much influence on so many wins. That's how I understand the wins above replacement right there, according to Jay Fresh. I read his explanation on it. So big moves for the centerman, big moves for the goalie carousel. There's a lot going on this morning. I think that Claude Giroux to Ottawa is probably the most interesting move to see that. What's the word I'm looking for? To see that. Not a desperation from Pierre Dorion. I don't think that's happening at all. I think it's just, I don't know if it's that he's feeling like unleashed, or I don't know what, but I'm loving the summer of Pierre. The Ottawa Senators are making a push for the playoffs long term as well, not just 1-year deals type of thing. Carolina losing Tony DeAngelo and then trying to replace him now with Brent Burns is very interesting. Pierre LeBrun saying that the trade is done, but I think it just has to do with the trade, the no trade clause has to be fixed up. Bobby Margarita, Bob McKenzie saying the on again, off again Connor Brown to Edmonton from Ottawa trade talks would appear to be back on. Not a done deal, but if there are no hiccups, Brown is soon likely to become an Oiler. So more cap dump from the Ottawa Senators as they continue to make moves. A lot of stuff going on right now. I wonder if Jesse Puljujarvi would be a guy coming back the other way if Connor Brown would be going to. It's not just a cap dump. It's you're moving cap, but he's a very valuable player. It's not a Colin White type of thing. Connor Brown does have a lot of value. So that'll be very interesting. I'm very curious to see what's going on with Brent Burns right now, what the return would be for the right-handed defenseman that the Hurricanes are looking for, especially after losing Tony DeAngelo, like I just mentioned. So let's pull up the numbers here. I'd be curious to see. The three Stromes end up somewhere together. I don't know if I see that. I don't know if I see that right now. Cap friendly. I want to see the Carolina Hurricanes. So if the Hurricanes are going to be taking on Brent Burns, his cap hit is what, $6 million? Let's say it's at maybe he's 25% retained or something. Let's say around $4 million. They have $19 million to play with. That's great. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's with Chatfield as your 4. Make Burns in there to play with Slavin. There's your 1, 2, Slavin and Burns. Shea Pesci, that's your second pair. Third pair, Chatfield and Bear, I suppose. Ethan Bear is going to cost you a few million. So 19 minus 4 or whatever, you're closer to 16. You're closer to 15. Depends on how much is being retained. Ethan Bear brings you down to closer to 12 probably. You still have a lot of money to play with in Carolina. The problem is going into the year after this. The Hurricanes they need to fill their lineup, right? They have 8 forwards under contract. So if they have the 6 defense under contract, let's say they're at 12 million, they still need 4 more forwards. So that's going to be the problem right there. Losing Vinny Trocheck and guys like that. It's going to be moving into next season is going to be the problem. Jordan Stahl, they'll resign him for cheaper, obviously. Jesper Fast is going to want a bit of an upgrade. Freddie Anderson, of course, is going to want way more. So the Hurricanes, they're on a bad spot. I don't mind that deal. It's just I'm not sure why they couldn't hold on to DeAngelo for $5 million. But I suppose Burns will come closer to $4 million. So I guess that, it makes sense for them for sure. As we're now 18 minutes away from the beginning of the trade deadline. Let's see what we got back here. Jay Fresh has an image on Brent Burns. As it seems like the trade is official here. It's reportedly traded to Carolina. We're 20 minutes away. Then we can see all the stuff that we already know is official can be official. Few players involved in the Carolina San Jose trade that's in the works, not just Burns. So this could be a big one right here. This could be a big one as Brent Burns will move from San Jose to Carolina. It looks like it's pretty much official now. He's in the 55th percentile for projected wins above replacement, 80th percentile for even strength offense. And you know what? While I'm here, I may as well just give a quick breakdown. According to Jay Fresh, because he explains all this very well. For those of you who don't know these analytics as well, I believe there's an explanation on the next card right here. Once it changes over, come on, there we go. So wins a metric that attempts to translate a player's contribution in various aspects of the game into individual wins contributed to his team compared to a replacement level. 13th forward, 7th D-man. Even strength offense, the estimated value of a player provides to his team based on his impact on scoring chances, expected goals for, when he's on the ice at even strength. Defense, the same thing here. Value of a player provided to his team based on his impact on preventing scoring chances against when he's on the ice at even strength. Power play, penalty kill, finishing, goals per 60, primary assists per 60. The estimated value a player provides to his team based on his impact on the on-ice minor penalty differential, the quality of competition, his quality of teammates, stuff like that. So when we see these numbers, that's what we're talking about. So Brent Burns, goals per 60, primary assists per 60, power play finishing against high levels of competition with good teammates. This is very interesting. He is 37, yes. 3 more years, that's the term is the hard part. And sorry, his cap hit is $8 million. My apologies. 6 would be probably at 20% retained, right? But he's still an above average wins above replacement player, and he is a solid defenseman that the Carolina Hurricanes could absolutely use. Looks like Patrice Bergeron will be coming back to the Boston Bruins. That's not new right there. Still waiting to hear what that trade's going to be. Vegas re-signing Riley Smith yesterday, I believe. Now, would they want to move some salary cap? Max Pacioretty's name has been out there, according to Elliot Friedman. So, my pleasure, Wind. Glad I could help out there. So I'll be curious to see what happens there in that trade between the Sharks and the Hurricanes for Brent Burns. as I'm just scrolling through the Discord server now. If you want to join the Discord server, that's where I'm taking a lot of this information from. We have a lot of our trade breakers out there. Jiggles over in the Discord server reporting that Kevin Labanc is likely part of the Carolina trade, as the Sharks will probably be moving Labanc and Burns. Would Martin Necas be coming back? There's a discussion on that over there right now. So if you want to join the Discord server to have discussions like these, I'm going to post the link in the chat. It's also in the description, but I'll post it in the chat for anyone who is curious, because even after this live stream ends, and other times throughout the season, it's always a great time in there as we have solid discussions. So I'll throw that in there. Just refreshing Twitter right now, but let me know your thoughts. What do you think a Brent Burns trade would look like? What would it cost to get Brent Burns as the Carolina Hurricanes? If you're getting him and you're getting Labanc, what kind of value are trading back? Because yes, you're doing San Jose a favor in taking them off the market. Excuse me, in taking him off their hands. But at retained salary, that's a very valuable defenseman. If he's not costing you $8 million, he's costing you closer to $5 million. That's a much more digestible number and a very valuable piece. Miller Time says, too quiet in Philly. Could be good, could be bad. They don't seem to be willing to move the first round pick that would require to be able to move on from JVR. So I don't see the Flyers really making any moves. They signed Tony DeAngelo. That's probably pretty much it. They lose Martin Jones, as he seems to be going to the Seattle Kraken. So maybe they need a backup goalie, but not much happening in Philly, I don't think. As we're now just about 14 minutes away from the opening of free agency, just everyone's waiting to hear the news on what the return is for Brent Burns. Victor Olofsson re-signing with the Buffalo Sabres, as he signs a 2-year extension with an AAV of $4.75 million. Big news there for a big player in Buffalo. So 2 more years of Victor Olofsson. I'm not sure what that does for his contract status. Let me see this here. If I go to Buffalo Sabres, I'm not sure if it'll be updated already. Victor Olofsson here. No, still as an RFA, but he's 20. No, so he'll be a UFA at the end of that contract. Absolutely. So Victor Olofsson, 2-year contract that will bring him to UFA status after that. So not a 1-for-1 in that trade. It's going to be a big package going on. Maybe not a big package, but it's going to be a package of players on both sides, it sounds like. If you just keep refreshing to wait and see so we can get some instant analysis. Yaroslav Halak still on the market for, yeah, that's true. Arthur Staple of The Athletic putting out a good piece right there. Yaroslav Halak, honestly, one of the better backups in the NHL in terms of consistency throughout the years. I'm a big fan of Yaroslav Halak, so that would be big for any team who's looking for just a solid guy to back up. We were just talking about the Philadelphia Flyers needing one. So I could see the Flyers, I could see the Rangers, who just lost Georgiev. I could see them being teams that will look for a solid backup option, as Yaroslav Halak could definitely be that. Speaking of goalies, as I said earlier, Ilya Samsonov going to Toronto. I'd be curious to see how much that's going to cost the Maple Leafs, because the Maple Leafs are in a very tight cap situation, as we've already addressed in previous videos, especially with the Matt Murray deal. 5.6 to play with. Acquiring Ilya Samsonov, let's say, I don't know, 3 million, maybe 2.5, 3 million. That's going to leave you with, another 2.6-ish to play with. I don't know. Maybe 3. Let's say they have 3 million left to play with. To sign Rasmus Sandin, maybe get lucky on a 1-year bridge if he's happy with that. Pierre Engvall, you get him on a cheap 1-year bridge as well, and you run it back, but then that's it. I think the Leafs are, you kind of have to trade Jake. You almost feel pressure to trade Jake Muzzin, but then can you really run a defensive core of Morgan Rielly and Rasmus Sandin on your top pair, Brody and Liljegren on your second pair, Hall and Giordano on your third pair? I'm not saying it's the worst. I'm just asking like an honest question. Can you? Yeah, big signage there. Welcome Lunchbox. Rob Thomas signing in St. Louis. We looked at his micro stats and his JFresh card previously. A big deal for the Blues. That looks good right now, for sure, after a solid season, a crazy season he just had. But will it be good long term? Looking at, speaking of microstats, let's take a look at Brent Burns' microstats. Marc-Edouard Vlasic on a first for nothing, then get Kadri. I don't know. Could the Sharks make a move for Kadri? They have Hurdle, they have Couture. I don't know. So here's some microstats on Burns, especially if he's going to have salary retained. It's going to be a valuable package going back to San Jose. If they trade Burns at retained and Kevin LeBlanc, for example, I could see the Sharks picking up maybe an RFA name that the Hurricanes don't think they can keep, like a Martin Necas. And I think that'll be too much, but if they did, that'll be a big win for San Jose. So great on the rush assist, great on the zone exits, D-zone retrievals, all great. Not great on entry success, carry entry, stuff like that. He is, he's not the man that he always has been. He's getting on the older side of an average hockey career, but still a lot to give. Still a lot to give. Speaking of the Senators as well, think about this as a lineup: DeBrincat, Stützle, Giroux, Kachuk, Norris, Batherson, Joseph, Pinto, Brown, Formenton, Kaslik, and Kelly. Bottom six can definitely still be worked on, and the defense absolutely has to be worked on. But that's a dynamic and playoff forward group. Now, can you add some playoff defense? That's going to be what changes things. And they also acquired Cam Talbot in exchange for Philip Gustafsson, so that was another move right there. Speaking of Victor Olofsson, who just re-signed in Buffalo, here are his metrics. Looks like, speaking of backup goalies as well, Thomas Greiss looks like he's going to St. Louis. So Lunchbox and any other St. Louis fans out there, Thomas Greiss likely going to be the backup for the St. Louis Blues, as he spent the last 2 years in Detroit. Another very good and consistent backup goalie. Thomas Greiss is in that Yaroslav Halak category when it comes to, in my opinion, when it comes to just consistent backups. Going back to the top here, keep refreshing as always. Let's see, back over here. Let's see. Yeah, if Chuck Fletcher can't make a trade or two and doesn't sign Johnny Gaudreau, he should just shut down his computer and go home for the day. Yeah, I don't see Johnny Gaudreau happening. I think when it comes to where Johnny Gaudreau goes, I'd say most likely the Devils, second most likely the Islanders, third most likely anyone else, fourth most likely the Flyers, and fifth most likely going back to Calgary, which is not happening. So I see the Flyers as like the second least likely team to get Johnny Gaudreau, unless they move out JVR. If it's not going to happen, then it's not good. Then the signing won't take place. Mason Marchment, a very desirable free agent this year. He had 18 goals, 29 assists, 47 points in 54 games. Was it because he was boosted with teammates? Debatable. But we'll see what happens here. He won't be returning to Florida. I'm reading here from Darren Dreger, a difficult situation he's in with the recent passing of his father. This family really needs good news, and Mason has a ton of interest in free agency. He has earned it. That's great news. That's great to hear. Refreshing on Twitter again. Everyone's just waiting on those Brent Burns details. That's a big move right there. Burns has been on San Jose for years now. If we pull up the good old hockey DB, actually the hockey reference, I think I'll pull up here because you can see a lot of stuff. Let's see the hockey DB on Brent Burns. Let's see what we got here. So Burns, 6'5", 230 pounds, 777 points in 1,251 games. He's been on the Sharks since 2011. Since then, he has won one Norris Trophy and 5 consecutive years of Norris votes. He was runner-up for the Norris in 2019, has not received votes since then, but it's only 3 years removed, 4 years starting this next season. In San Jose, 594 points in 798 games. That's pretty crazy, actually. That's wild. And only a negative 13. Like, yes, he's a negative, but that's not horrible. Negative 13. Looking at the advanced analytics here, you want to have a Corsi above 50 in the possession metrics, and it's 54.9 with the Sharks. So solid enough. The last couple of years not been great at all, but for sure, these prime years with the Sharks, whoo, baby, he has it. He's still got it. And I could see him being a huge piece for the Carolina Hurricanes. So I think this trade definitely makes sense for them. Now, do the Sharks get what they want back? As we're back on Twitter here. Computer's going a little bit slow because a lot is happening out here. Let's see what we got in another refresh as we're just 6 minutes away from the beginning of free agency. Olofsson re-signed. We saw that. Some chatter of the Patrick Kane situation. Steve Simmons, always fun to laugh at that. So the deal on Riley Smith, I think it was agreed upon yesterday. It looks like it's 3 years at $5 million. So it's a good contract for Riley Smith. He deserves that. But it's more tough cap situations in Vegas, as it seems like they may be talking about shopping Max Pacioretty. Let's go back to teams here. Let's look at Vegas. Looking at the Vegas Golden Knights. So with Riley Smith signed on, let's see, is he signed on? I don't see him here. No, so already they're over the cap by 2.657, but that, once the Shea Weber salary kicks in, the LTIR, that's going to be helpful right there. But a lot of money tied up in their defense. Pietrangelo, Martinez, Weber, top 3 guys taking up like close to 25% of their salary cap. Their top forwards here, Eichel, Stone, Pacioretty, just them again. They take over like 33% of the cap, something like that. So it's difficult in Vegas. It's going to be tough to see what they do. And moving on Pacioretty would be tough, but I could see it happening. So Pitlick, no qualifying offer from the Canadians for Rem Pitlick. I'm a bit. I don't know if I'm a bit stunned on it. I guess I'm not sure if it's Kent Hughes trying to make his own path type of thing and move away from what Bergevin has done, but it would. How much more you got to do? He scored 20 some points in 40 some games as a waiver pickup. Like, what more do you have to do? So I am a bit surprised in that. The Canadians did offer other qualifying offers. It's not like they let everybody walk from the Bergevin era or anything like that. But I feel like I'm a bit curious. Maybe there could be something deeper to it where it was going to cost too much because of his performance bonuses and arbitration. I'm not sure if he was an RFA with his age, but still a bit curious nonetheless. I do have to agree that Pitlick probably should have acquired something. Let's see. Bobby Margarita saying that Andre Palat with no path back to Tampa Bay will be a hot UFA commodity today. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay's focus is on doing long-term deals for their own RFAs, Sergachev, Cirelli, and Chernak. Maybe some max term deals in the offing. So some 8 years potential for like a guy like Sergachev. Adam Gold saying Burns' deal is bigger than just Burns. Wouldn't be surprised if Nachas and Gardner are involved going west. Another player coming back. So that's true because the Hurricanes can also dump Jake Gardner. So that would be great for the Hurricanes if they can bring on Brent Burns at salary retained and move out Jake Gardner. It costs them Martin Nachas. Let's see an update here from Pierre Lebrun on the Kays, Tays, Seth Jones stuff going on. Pretty much the last 3 human beings in the Blackhawks franchise. Everyone else is just gone. It's a ghost town. Pat Brisson, agent for Kane, Tays, and Seth Jones in Chicago, all have no move clauses. Brisson says he's been communicating with his clients and absorbing everything that's been happening with the Blackhawks roster. Brisson says while they're not necessarily in agreement with the direction the team is taking, they will let the dust settle first and then patiently make the best decisions for each player as it pertains to their respective careers. I'd be surprised if all 3 of those guys begin the season in Chicago. So with Burns going to Carolina, does that open up a Dallas and Montreal link for Jeff Petrie? Also very interesting to note right there. So also with Samsonov going to Toronto, that means James Reimer not coming back to Toronto, which is sad. A lot of people had that in mind. Jack Campbell nervously waiting to find out the Oilers will contact him at 12:01 for the very first time. That's why, what is it? I don't know why the rules of tampering or whatever just aren't enforced. Makes me laugh. Let's see. Right, Philadelphia hires Tortorella, then saddles him with right-handed D's bad at D, buys out a good defensive wing. Torts says the Philadelphia room is splintered, yet they dump their highest character player and replace him with a guy who was kicked off a team. This plan makes no sense, and I could not agree more. We're now 2 minutes away from the beginning of free agency. I'm getting excited for what is the return in the Burns trade because, as we were just saying here, back to Carolina, Martin Nachas, the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. I think the Sharks would absolutely eat this up if they get Martin Nachas in a deal here to move Brent Burns. Yeah, they take on Jake Gardner, but that's not a big deal. LTIR $4 million for 1 year. all worried. Or even, oh, well, he was LTIR. So I believe he's supposed to come back this season, which Carolina doesn't have the money for. That's why they'd be moving him. But Natchez going to a hockey DB here. Let's see some Martin Natchez right here. He was a I'm thinking about Aho. 12th overall pick, first round in 2017. Consistently putting up, 41 and 53 in 2020-21. That would have been on pace for a 63-point season in 2020-21. Bit of a slower year in 21-22. But Martin Natchez has huge potential, I believe. Zaka gone. Yeah, he's off to Boston as the Devils continue to try and free up some cap space, We have now hit 12 o'clock noon Eastern. It is time to see what becomes official as all those deals that no one knew about. What? Can you believe it? Jack Campbell to Edmonton? What? All those are becoming official now at 12 o'clock. Yeah, there it is. 24 seconds ago, the Edmonton Oilers, the first one right here, signing Jack Campbell, 5 years, $5 million. Very nice guy. The Edmonton Oilers get their goalie. Can you trust Jack Campbell to be a full-time starter playing 60-plus games and having a lot of pressure on a team with bad defense? He's done it before, but there's been bad results. Bad defense, Austin Matthews doesn't get it done. Bad defense, Connor McDavid can it be done? That's gonna be tough. That is going to be tough. Sharks are interested in Oscar Lindblom, who the Flyers bought out. This is fun here on TSN. Don't want to get any ruffle any feathers here. That's the first official signing, I believe, of free agency, as Darren Dreger reports on that. What else is coming in? Ilya Samsonov, 1 year, $1.8 million. Interesting. 1 year, 1.8. That's big right there. So that means the Maple Leafs will be able to play with more money than I thought. It's still pretty tight, but at 1.8, it's more than I thought. It's a 1 year prove it to me type deal. Then he'll want some money. And Matt Murray, he's going to still be on the payroll for 2 more years here. So that's going to be tough. If Samsonov next season wants, 3+ after he has a solid year, that's going to be tough for Toronto. So they have, 5.61 minus 1.8. That gives them 3.81 to play with. 3.81 million to play with. Interesting. Jani Pekka, evening from Finland. This is going to be a mad couple of hours. Absolutely. Thank you for joining us. Glad you're here. For all of you joining us at 12 o'clock Eastern here. Boomba, it says that he's, Samsonov, I didn't say he's amazing, but I think he has the potential to be great. I'll say that. So all of you joining here at 12 o'clock Eastern as free agency begins, welcome. Be sure to leave a like and do consider subscribing, because we do a lot of real life hockey, franchise mode hockey, a lot of sports related franchise modes as well. So I'm sure that you'd enjoy all of that content. And speaking of content here, Claude Giroux, the heart of Hearst, Ontario, agrees to a 3-year deal with the Ottawa Senators. Big news right there from Pierre Lebrun as Claude Giroux signs a 3-year deal with the Senators. The summer of Pierre continues. Big move for the Ottawa Senators, getting their big second line center. Even put him on the wing, going to the Ottawa Senators here. Big for their forward core. They have 22.49 minus the 6.5. They still have 15.99, so they still have like 16 million to play with here when it comes to the salary cap. A lot of guys on 1-year contracts, but that's a lot of money that they can absolutely sign Norris, Formenton, Joseph with, get some better defense as well. The Senators are looking good. They are looking good. Jack Campbell, let's see. Jay Fresh, an inconsistent starting goalie who is prone to fits of brilliance followed by not so much. Started 2021-22 looking like a Vezina winner and ended looking like an AHLer. So here, 69th percentile for projected wins above replacement. Great in low danger, medium danger, high danger, not as much, though. That's the problem. Quality starts 80%, excellent starts 34, bad 32. So his skill lies somewhere in between, it seems like, right there. Huge deal as the Ottawa Senators pick up Claude Giroux. That's going to be the big news right there. Everyone from waivers yesterday has cleared. What else do we got going on here? I don't think there's anything else that we missed. Let's go back up here and refresh. 35 new tweets already. They come fast and furious. Ian Cole to the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's a classic. Oh, what? 1 year, $3 million? Ian Cole getting $3 million. What? Ian Cole. Let's look at the numbers here quickly. I'll get to comments in a moment here. I just got to look at this one more time. Ian Cole signing 1 year, $3 million. Tampa has money like that? Whoa. Last year spent on Carolina, 19 points in 75 games, 104 blocks, 110 hits. Not bad at all. Like a hit and a block plus per game. Let's see these possession metrics. 52.6 for the Corsi 4, slightly above average. In his career, below average. I don't know. That's an odd one in my opinion. Not that they'd get Ian Cole, but $3 million. I'm spending a lot of time on this. Is like a really minor deal, but like $3 million. Tampa has money like that. They're over the salary cap. Yeah, they'll use their LTIR space for sure. But Hedman, that's a lot of money on the back end here. Philip Myers as well, 2.5 they're going to be using. Okay. Giroux to Ottawa, we said. Yeah, great image right there. Anything else we're missing? Kevin Weeks. I don't think there's anything else there. Let's go back to the top. Another 55 tweets here. We got to refresh fast and furious here. Young goalie here from Jay Fresh. Tough numbers, but he still has first percentile rebound control. Yeah, he wasn't great last year. I'll say that, but I think he has a lot of potential to be a starter, even an elite starter. Devils get Brendan Smith, 2 years, 1.1. Keep that in mind. Martin Jones off to the Seattle Kraken. He's going to be backing up Philip Grubauer. Anything else out here? Alexander True back in Seattle. Not seeing anything else, I don't think. No, back to the top. And let's get back to your comments right here. Whew. So let's see. As a Habs fan, it hurts to see Giroux, a guy they passed on for Christian Fischer. Not for Christian Fischer. Who was that guy they drafted back in that? Was it David Fischer, who are about to be elite? Yeah, absolutely. That does hurt. Giroux with the Sens, absolutely. Let's see. Sick man, welcome aboard, my friend. Let's see. Ramses, good afternoon. Welcome. Zaka, former, yeah, some call him a bust. Regardless, he's now gone. I think he'll do well to change of scenery on a team like Boston. I think he fits their groove a bit more, maybe. I think Eric Halla is going to do well in New Jersey. I think it's a good trade for both sides right there. Let's get back to the Twitter sphere. As we refresh, how many new tweets happened in those last 2 seconds? 42 new tweets. What else is happening here? So Ian Cole for $3 million. A bit curious on the AAV, in my opinion. What else we got here? I think that's it for the moment. Nothing that I missed, I don't think. No. Or in the Discord server, what are people saying here? Just scrolling through what people have to say. We're having fun over there, that's for sure. Let me get back to your comments here. So Ottawa Senators, are they a playoff team now? Are the Ottawa Senators a playoff team? That's very interesting. They're giving them $6.5 million AAV. The Senators still have $16 million to play with. They have $16 million to sign Norris, Formenton, Joseph, and do more if they want. So summer of Pierre continues. Giroux to Ottawa is a move that just, I feel like it fits. 3 years especially makes sense as well. Maybe leaves a little space for a homecoming in the near future. So that's going to be big for the Ottawa Senators. They really need a guy like that. I don't know what the leash on Pierre Dorion was, that now he's just going out and doing whatever. But boy, Dave Pagnotta, as we wait to see if a Canes Sharks get to the finish line in Brent Burns trade, some Sharks players are surprised it's actually happening. Yeah, for sure. I don't doubt it. Thomas Greiss signed by the St. Louis Blues. It was a 1 year, $1.3 million deal, by the way, for Thomas Greiss. So he'll back up Jordan Binnington. That's going to be a nice little tandem there, I believe, with Husso now off to Detroit. Flyers with Goudreau. I don't think that's going to happen at all. Do the Wild have enough salary cap? It depends. Well, enough cap for what? But let's take a look at their cap-friendly page. Let me open it up for a moment, and I'll share it with you. The Wild are in one of the toughest situations in the entire NHL with those contract buyouts as well. Ian Cole signed 1 year, $3 million with the Tampa Bay Lightning. So I find that AAV a bit curious. Lots of talk of Brown going to the Oilers, Puljujärvi coming the other way. That would be another slam dunk, I think, for the Ottawa Senators. Do the Wild have enough cap? Let me pull that up for you here. So the Minnesota Wild, They have 4.3 million in cap space right now as their does it show the dead cap? No, you have to scroll down for that. Dead cap, yeah. So in 2022-23, they're paying like over 12.5 million for Parise and Suter to not be on the team, and it only gets worse in the next couple of years. Here's how the cap situation looks. They have 4.3 to play with. They have 11 forwards, 7D, 2 goalies. So their goaltending is figured out. Defense, Spurgeon, Brodin, Dumba, Middleton, Kulikov, Goligoski, with John Merrill as 7th, I guess. Forwards, you got 11. You need one more for a lineup. In the system, you could always try and call up one. Is this the year Marco Rossi comes to the NHL? Mason Shaw is getting up there. I think he's got to get an opportunity. So I think the Wild are in an okay situation cap-wise if they want to stay as they are, but they don't really have the room to do much more. That's the problem. Let's check out any more new news here in the NHL. Claude Giroux, great numbers here when you look at the model, JFresh model here from Top Down Hockey and JFresh Hockey. Great 94th percentile for offense, 87th for defense, 91st overall, just overall. Yeah, I don't know if I like this deal for the Lightning. This guy in the 38th percentile, he's okay defenseman, but $3 million? Tampa doesn't have money like that. I don't know where they got that money, but I don't know. Reporting Burns, the trade hasn't happened yet, but it sounds like he's going to the Carolina Hurricanes. Flyers out on Johnny Hockey. I think that would make a ton of sense because they're not going to, I don't think they should move that first round pick next year. And if they don't move that first round pick, they're not moving JVR. And if they're not moving JVR, they're not getting Johnny Gaudreau. So I think it makes a lot of sense for the Flyers to not go after Gaudreau in like if it means having to trade the first. But what doesn't make sense is that they spent their money elsewhere and now they're saying, oh, we have no money and it's going to cost us a first to move JVR. Well, maybe you shouldn't have made some of those other deals and you would have had that money. Yeah, Palat absolutely leaving Tampa Bay. That is confirmed as well. Yeah, no problem. So Brent Burns, the trade is they're still trying to work it out. But Brent Burns will be going to the Carolina Hurricanes, it sounds like. Yeah. Getting back to Twitter here. A lot of deals happening, a lot of smaller deals like that Brendan Smith deal. The St. Louis Blues have a 4-year deal in place for Nick Leddy, working on an AAV reported by Frank Saravalli. So Nick Leddy and the St. Louis Blues are going to be signing a 4-year contract right there for some of the Blues fans in here. The Blues today, so Nick Leddy, Rob Thomas extended, and Thomas Greiss. So a big day for St. Louis so far. Andy Strickland reporting that there is definitely some interest in Paul Stastny, but no rush in making a decision. Those are the guys who aren't going to be signing on just yet. Brent Burns, not quite washed just yet, I don't think, especially if there's going to be salary retained. It's sounding like Brent Burns and Kevin LeBlanc with salary retained on Burns to Carolina for something like Martin Necas and Jake Gardiner. That would be something very interesting to see for both sides. Michael, welcome to the stream. Doing all right on Free Agent Frenzy Day. I am doing just fine. Thank you for checking in and thank you for being here, my friend. Going back to Twitter, seeing else what's up. As we're close to about 40 people right now. So thank you very much to everyone who's taken the time to join us on today's stream. If you're not already subscribed or a member of the team, we'd love to have you join in because it is that much stronger of a team when you are a part of it, especially in our franchise mode series. So take a time to just explore the channel and see if it's something that you would like. Hope Montreal are going to make some moves today. I believe a Jeff Petrie trade is definitely on the table, especially with Brent Burns likely going to Carolina now. That means that Dallas, who was also very high on Brent Burns, will likely move to look at other right-hand D options that include Jeff Petrie. So I could see a Jeff Petrie move to Dallas happening in the near future. Absolutely. Taking a little sip here. As the Columbus Blue Jackets are signing David Jiricek and Denton Mateychuk, the players they drafted 6th overall and 12th overall. Thought it said that they were trading for a moment. Am I on lunch? No, I'm not working today, thankfully. I'm not on days like, for example, the trade deadline, I didn't have time to do this because I was working. But thankfully, I'm not working today, so I have the time for this one. So yeah, David Pagnotta reporting there that the Blue Jackets give those 3-year entry-level contracts to Jiricek and Mateychuk. Jiricek, I think, is definitely going to be an NHLer this season, or at least get some time in the NHL. Mateychuk wouldn't be surprised if he returns to juniors. Going back to the top here, waiting for some refresh. There you go. 10 more tweets. Just hungry for those tweets. Nick Leddy, 4 years. I'm going to be excited to see the JFresh card on him. 4-year deal right there. Let's see. Say what you will about Kyle Dubas, but it's becoming more and more clear that he's not the only GM risking his job on running back the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's see. Michael Bunting can sign an extension. Duncan Keith retirement. Yeah, it seems like it's slowed down a little bit. Darcy Kemper's 5 years, 5.5 contract is going to be coming in soon. There's no point to any sort of tampering rules. That I was just mentioning that earlier. When players, teams, and media all dance around, I don't know what the point is to put up this song and dance about no tampering when 12:01 hits, 12 o'clock and 20 seconds hits, and Jack Campbell signing his contract, right? What did I see right here? Yeah, Pierre-Luc Dubois discussions to Montreal have been happening a lot. I don't know if I see that happening today. Let's see what we got here. Do you think Dallas gives up their first round pick this year in a Petrie trade? I don't know if I see that. I don't see if I. Hey, Charlie Montoyo got fired. Hey, there's some Blue Jays news for if that's true in the baseball world. Charlie Montoyo fired. Big news for the Blue Jays who've been struggling recently. I'm glad I'm helping the morning fly over in Vancouver. Absolutely. Glad to hear that, Dex. The first GM to be fired this season, Chuck Fletcher. If there were odds on it, I would probably put it right there on Chuck Fletcher and the Philadelphia Flyers. I'll probably give them a bit of a chance now that they have new coaching there with John Tortorella, but we'll see. Alan says, I think I'd rather Montreal wait to get paid get PLD as a UFA, focus on the tank this season. I like that very much. Well said, Alan. It's just the only problem with that is that the Jets may look at other options because they want to get something for Pierre-Luc Dubois, right? They don't want to just let him walk. But it depends on, where does Pierre-Luc Dubois want to go? I don't think he has a no trade clause or anything. I don't believe he does. What else do we got over here? A series of club calls have begun with those pitching Nazem Kadri, reports Darren Dreger. Here's a little signing right here for the Seattle Kraken. If we get PLD and it involves our first round pick this year, I don't. No. That would not be good. That would not be good. Justin Schultz signing with the Seattle Kraken, 2 years at $3 million per. Great for those primary assists, but he's a veteran bottom pair D-man who's good at moving the puck in the offensive zone. He's been good, but he's had a tough couple of years, I think. Justin Schultz, I remember him being like a super high guy in like fantasy drafts. Everyone was going crazy about Justin Schultz on the Penguins as well. But, he had his 51-point season, then 27, 15 and 29, okay, point every other game, 12 and 46, goes to Washington, a couple of solid enough years. He blocks pucks as more of a guy thought of it as an offensive guy, so he blocks. But, he's definitely gone down a little bit. How are the Corsi numbers looking on Schultz over here? Career-wise, 52.7. Yeah, that's not bad. He's not bad. He's not bad at all. I think he's worthy of that $3 million contract for 2 years here with the Seattle Kraken. 2 years, $3 million for Justin Schultz. Not seeing much else. Let's go back to the refresh here. 35 new tweets. Love to hear it. Charlie Montoyo fired. Yeah. Well, Curtis Lazar to the Vancouver Canucks for 3 years. Get excited, Vancouver Canuck fans. Curtis Laser Lazar. There you go. Habs and Slavkovsky engaged in contract talks. Yeah, that ELC is coming soon for sure. Not too much else more, I don't think. So we'll take a pause there. Go back over here. Jiggles, welcome, my friend. I don't think I've ever seen Jiggles on a live stream. Great to see you in here, buddy. But yeah, Jay's news just dumped the Montoyo firing while we're all focused on NHL stuff. That's funny. Maple Leafs duo, I think it's a lot better. Murray and Samsonov is a lot better than Murray and Shalgren. But I still probably would have preferred Marachik in there. I think it would have been less expensive and it would have been just as much risk performance-wise, in my opinion. But Matt Murray is here, and the Leafs get to recoup a couple picks as well. So hey, what are you gonna do? I don't hate it. It's very high risk and very high reward, but with very unnecessary risk, in my opinion. Back to the Twitter sphere here. What's up in the new tweets? Quiet morning for Dylan Strome's camp, but things are starting to pick up on 25-year-old. Yeah, absolutely. So, if Kopp's going to Detroit and Trocheck's going to New York and Kadri's still making his discussions, if you're a team that loses out on Kadri or thinks you're losing out on Kadri, Dylan Strome very quickly becomes option number 2, I think. And Dylan Strome is a very valuable player. I like Dylan Strome very much. So I think that he's going to be a great centerman, middle six centerman for any team that gets him. Pierre LeBrun on TSN Insider Trading reports that the Habs will make an offer to UFA D-man Brett Kulak when he hits the market. That's from Habs Links. I don't know if it's the most reliable source, but I would love Brett Kulak back in Montreal. He was a solid D-man. Let's see what else we got here. 1 mil AAV, is that on Curtis Lazar? 3 years, 3 mil. Yeah, 3 years, 3 mil for Curtis Lazar. I'm surprised he got that much term, actually. But 3 years, 3 mil depth piece for the Canucks. Kevin Rooney, speaking of depth, we have Kevin Rooney, 2 years at $1.2 million with the Calgary Flames. So there's a move for all you Flames fans who just lost out on Johnny Gaudreau, unfortunately. You get Kevin Rooney signed up. That's great. Back to the stream here. Let's see. I'm a big Sammy hater because I watch Caps games because my dad, and yeah, he's not too great. Yeah, I think Vanacek was the better of the two this season for sure. And I wish I could tell you good things, but I don't know if Darcy Kemper is going to be amazing for the Capitals. I don't think I'm really convinced of Darcy Kemper as a starting goalie, really. I think he's in the fringe category. I see him in the Jonathan Bernier, Martin Jones when he was with LA, Thomas Greiss when he was on New York. I see him in that kind of category. I don't, even Antti Ranta. I don't think I see Darcy Kemper being an elite starter and worthy really of a 5 by 5.5 type of thing, like a 5-year contract. That's really locking him in as your starter. And I don't think he's shown evidence that he is a solid long-term starter. I don't think we've seen that. So he hasn't signed yet, but it sounds like he's going to the Washington Capitals. I want to look at the numbers a little more closely. Darcy Kemper. He's never started more. Let's see. He's had 2 career years as a starter, really. He's been playing since 2012. So let's say he's been playing since 2012. He only played 6 games. Let's say 2013. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 9 seasons. So 9 times, let's say a starter could, let's say 60 games. Of a potential 540 games he could have played as a starter, he's averaged 26, 30, a couple years of 50. He's only played 315, or let's minus those 6. He's played 311 out of 540 games. So he's only played 57.59% of the games that a starter would play in if he was a starter. I don't see Kemper as a starter. And I think that the Caps might regret this a little bit here. Is Johnny Hockey signing up? Hold on. Let me see the refresh on the Twitter here. I'm hearing it in the chat. That's I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing that Pagnotta says nothing done yet between the Capitals and Darcy Kemper. It's trending that way, but it's not done yet. I'm seeing some stuff in the chat about Johnny Gaudreau, but I'm not seeing anything else in the real world out here, so I won't report on it just yet, I don't think. Xavier Ouellet's going to the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's been a staple in Montreal, the captain of the Laval Rocket the last few years. He's going to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Interesting right there. Pete O'File. Let me, he's a really good source. He's one of the better ones, no? On the Sportsnet page, it says Zaka got traded for Zaka for Eric Howla. It was Zaka for Eric Howla. Big moves there for Robert Thomas signing with the St. Louis Blues on an 8-year extension. It's going to be an interesting contract because it looks good now after he had a career year, but will it be a deal that's kind of curious down the road? That's going to be what we have to think about here. Rory says, I'm really hoping that the Habs give in and blow it up, trade everyone except Doc, Caulfield, and Zooks. I'm so scared they try to do a quick type rebuild. Yeah, I could see that. I don't think they're going to do a quick type rebuild. I think the Canadians are all in on doing it the right way. But, if you get the right pieces, that it accelerates a little bit, kind of like Ottawa. They're doing it the right way, but Kachuk's doing great. Stützle's doing great. You have the money. People are interested. Why not speed it up a little bit? Nolan, welcome aboard. Happy to see your streaming. Best. Hey, thank you very much, Nolan. I appreciate that. And thank you for taking the time to be here. Sick Man thinks that Palat to the Flames would be a good fit. You know what? I definitely see Palat to the Flames being a good fit as well. There's nothing to suggest that that's in the works, but when it comes to fits, I could see that. Maybe the Flyers go after him if they know they're not going to be able to get Gaudreau, which they know they're not going to be able to get him now, unfortunately. Let's see. Ilya Samsonov, after this one-year contract, will be a restricted free agent, so the Leafs will have the ability to maintain his rights. So that is comforting right there. It's 1.3 million, by the way, for Kevin Rooney for 2 years with the Flames. Not seeing anything else in the news right now. 15 more. The tweets just keep on coming, but I won't. Here we go. 7-year deal for Vinny Trocheck and the New York Rangers. Frank Cervalli reporting. This is big for the center market right there. As I suggested earlier, it sounded like Rangers and Trocheck were a fit, and they are. 7-year deal, a max deal in terms of the term. Big deal for the Rangers because there's their second line center who they couldn't afford. No Kopp, no Strome. He's now their number 2 behind Mika Zibanejad. So 10.208. It's going to take a big bite into that cap. First line, you have Panarin, Zibanejad, Kreider. Second line now becomes what? Is it Lafreniere on the left, Kako on the right, and Trocheck down the middle? Heidel maybe your third line center with Gaudreau as the wing. You still need a couple pieces, I think, but hopefully there should be enough money left over for the Rangers to make that happen. They probably need another defenseman in there. They need a backup goalie. So it's going to be tight. It's definitely going to be tight right there. But the Rangers saying that we are really all in on running this back by signing a 7-year extension, a 7-year contract for Vinny Trocheck. I'd be curious to hear what the AAV on him on Vinny Trocheck will be. But that is big for the New York Rangers. Big news right there. Mr. Michalak, what do I think about the Haula-Zacha trade? I think it makes sense for both teams. I think that with David Krejci coming back, Eric Haula was used to being in that top 6 role, but with Bergeron and Krejci coming back, Haula might not be happy in a third line role. Yes, he could play wing, but I think he'll fit in well in New Jersey. And Zacha just needed a change of scenery, and he can play the wing for David Krejci. He can be that big body type of thing. I could see that happening right there. So I like that trade for both teams. I think it made sense. Ottawa will be good. They could be a playoff contender, says Caden. I could see that as well. I think they're going to be pushing for the playoffs. I don't know if they're going to do much. They still need the defense to get figured out, but the forward core is there. Ottawa's making moves. They're looking good. As a Flyer fan, why are we going to sign a player for a lot of money when we already have no money and terrible contracts? Absolutely. How will Boston free up enough cap for Krejci and Bergeron? Let's see this. Well, let's go to cap friendly Bruins. Let's see this right here for the Bruins. They currently have 4.758 to play with. Bringing in Zacha at do they have it? Marchand, Coyle, DeBrusque, Foligno, Smith, Nosek, Wagner, Fennerstein. Oh, there he is. Oh, he's an RFA. That's why. So Zacha, does he get re-signed, or was that just a trade and see what happens? Trade away his rights or whatever. The contracts of Forbort and Riley at $3 million each. I questioned it last year, and now it's coming back to haunt them a little bit. Money has to be freed up, though. There definitely has to be money freed up. Nick Foligno would definitely be a candidate to move out. Charlie Coyle has a huge contract. Yeah. This is tough because Zacha's an RFA. New Jersey Devils. Eric Haula was taking up how much? Was he in the 3s? No, 2.375. So you free up a little bit right there, but you would think Zacha would cost just as much. So maybe he just doesn't get signed with the Bruins. Maybe that was just a paper move, perhaps. But it's not going to be easy for the Bruins to do that. Thomas is actually getting 8.125 per season, not 8x8. So that's going to be interesting right there. 7 years for 29-year-old Vinny Trocheck. So, that reminds me of the Seattle deal that we did for him in the Seattle Kraken franchise mode. We signed Vinny Trocheck for 7 years. No, we signed him for 1 year. No, sorry, take that back. We signed him for 4 years, thinking he'd be gone in 1 year. And then he ends up being a long-term player with us. It stayed for the majority of our franchise mode. He was great. Nick Aubé-Kubel going to the Toronto Maple Leafs, 1 year, $1 million for you Leafs fans out there. Laurent Dauphin back with the Arizona Coyotes. He was with the Predators, went to the Canadiens, and now he leaves to go to Arizona. 1 year, $750K right there for the Coyotes. Laurent Dauphin was a solid. I liked him a lot, actually. Yeah, 8.125. Samsonov, look at these great numbers in the KHL. He had a tough little time in Vancouver, but he's going to be okay. I think he'll do well. That's going to be a good tandem, I think, for the Maple Leafs. They got Obi Kubel as depth. So does that say goodbye to Pierre Engvall? I don't know. But it looks like the Trocheck deal is a $5.625 million AAV. That's breaking news right there from Arthur Staple. So 5.625 times 7, that's a $39.375 million contract, it sounds like, for Vinny Trocheck right there. Big deal for the New York Rangers. So if he's going to cost 5.625 going to the New York Rangers, how much cap did they have again? 5.625. So 10.208 minus 5.625. That leaves them with 4.583. The Rangers have 4.583 million to sign a couple more forwards, a defenseman, and a backup goalie. Yeah, not going to be easy right there for the Rangers. Obi Kubel, solid depth guy, two-way fourth liner. I like that for the Maple Leafs. Yeah, Dallas Stars. Let me see Dallas here. How much cap space does Dallas have? Here, let me check that out. And I'll check out Edmonton right after that. So the Dallas Stars, who are looking to potentially, they wanted to acquire Brent Burns. Now it sounds like he's going to Carolina. So it sounds like Jeff Petrie may be the guy that they go for. They currently have $17.81 million to play with. They have a lot of money. The Dallas Stars have a lot of money with Radulov leaving and all that. But they also need to sign, they need to sign Jake Ottinger, that's for sure. They want to get a right-handed D-man, potentially Jeff Petrie. And they could use some bigger names on offense. Sagan, Ben, Pavelski, that's great. And Hintz, Gurionov, that's good too. I don't know if I believe in the depth. You got to re-sign Jason Robertson as well. So, yeah, they'll have a little salary cap left over, but they have the money to do what they need to do. A question here for how much cap space does the Edmonton Oilers have after they've signed Jack Campbell now? Let's see the Edmonton Oilers. Oilers have 4.993, so just about 5 million left to play with, but they need to sign like 4 more forwards, another defenseman. Yeah, it's going to be tight in Edmonton, that's for sure. Puljujarvi, Yamamoto needing contracts. Puljujarvi is definitely on his way out. Yamamoto has to get signed. That's not going to be easy for the Oilers to do. Not at all. Oh, boy. Did Johnny Gaudreau sign with the Devils? Not yet. Is Perron going to be back with the Blues is my next question. After Robert Thomas extension and Letty is set to get a 4-year extension as well, I don't think Perron's back with the Blues. And it's not because it's not a good fit. It's just that I don't think the money's there. So it sounds like Perron is going to be signing elsewhere, I think. He's bounced around quite a few teams now, David Perron has. Let's see Vinny Trocheck's card here from J Fresh Hockey. Yeah, 10 plus goes to Ottinger and Robertson for sure, I think. Trocheck, he is solid when it comes to the scoring on the power play. He's pretty average everywhere else, solid offense. And then, overall, he's average there. 49th percentile of projected wins above replacement. The 7 years is a lot, but 5.6 is not a crazy number, I don't think. He will be 36 at the end of the contract. He creates dangerous chances for himself in tight, especially deflections and one-timers. He can pass the puck as well, although was less creative in that regard in Carolina than in Florida. So I think he'll do well with a guy like Alexis Lafreniere on his line. There's good talent in New York for sure. I think it's a good fit for sure. I think it's a very good fit for Vinny Trocheck. And it's Andrew, speaking of centerman, Andrew Kopp signing the exact same contract in AAV, but it's 5 years, 5.625 for Kopp in Detroit. So Andrew Kopp signing with the Detroit Red Wings for 2 less years than Trocheck got in New York, but the exact same money. I don't know what the problem was. I don't know why it didn't work out in New York then. That's curious. Exact same AAV. Yeah, everyone let's look for those details on Brent Burns. Waiting to hear about that. $9 million for Gaudreau and Trocheck for the next 5 years is a lot for the Rangers. That's true. Are the Avs staying the same or dropping in skill? Well, they re-signed Helm, Cogliano, Manson. They got Georgiev between the pipes. I think they're going to stay about the same. They do lose Kadri, which is a big loss, but I think that they stay around the same. They get Nichushkin back as well. I think they stay about the same, I do have to say. There must have been something deeper to it of why New York didn't get Kopp. Maybe it was something to do with the term, or the pro scouts just preferred Trocheck. That's definitely it. I don't think it was anything to do with money too much because it sounds, exact same dollars. Exact same dollars right there. Let's bring it back to Twitter here. We're over an hour of live coverage now, over a half hour into free agent frenzy here in 2022. What else is going on here? Trocheck 7 years, risky deal. Thinks Tugi there. Rangers signed Trocheck. Robert Thomas, we looked at his numbers already, but he is a very skilled player. Obi Kubel. Now they're going to dent the Toronto's going to dent the cup when they get it, right? Yeah. Mackenzie Weegar, rumors to Ottawa and elsewhere continue to drift. However, the Panthers and Weegar continue discussions on an extension. Decisions to be made. So, we're still waiting on Darcy Kemper, which seemed pretty much all wrapped up. Andrew Copp was another deal that seemed all wrapped up, and now it's officially all wrapped up. Maybe they wanted to see how much Trocheck was going to get, then they matched it. I don't know what they were doing there. We're still waiting to hear on the Brent Burns trade details. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try something here for a moment. I'm going to, hold on. I'm going to take a quick break to get a sip of water. So I'll share this other screen for a moment. Let me see now. It's my first time doing this. There we go. I'll share that. Hide this. And there we go. And we'll be right back. All right, and we're back. Let's go back to here. Stop sharing that. Then I'll share back the other screen. I'm getting used to this now. First time I'm doing live streams like this. We're getting used to it. Share that, and there we go. So Andrew Copp signing with Detroit. He definitely has the better numbers. Projected wins above replacement for Trocheck was 49. Copp at 63, but it depends on what they want. Copp's definitely more of a defensive guy with a great penalty killing. He's a top 6 forward who can pretty much do whatever is asked of him at a solid enough level. He can play a shutdown role, can play a faster rush game. He can play special teams. He can play at any forward position. So that's very valuable right there. I guess the Rangers just wanted something else from their top 6. So, he's going to be a great piece in Detroit longer term as well. He'll complement Dylan Larkin very well. And, Detroit's starting to make those moves. Stevie Y and Detroit starting to make those moves. They're moving out of the basement and they're starting to get ready to rev up some playoff pushes. Never doubt the Yzer plan. Absolutely not. Let's see. The Rangers zeroed in on Trocheck. They had him on their sites, and it looks like that they got that done. Okay, great. Toronto FC closing in on a Federico Bernardeschi trade deal. That would be very interesting for any TFC fans out there in the MLS. Xavier Ouellet, like we said, to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Nothing else going on right now, doesn't seem like. All right, back to the stream here. Dylan Strome in Philly. That would be something. Yeah, again, that would be like a team like Philly. We're thinking they were going to be in on Kadri. Maybe they're going to be in on Goudreau. Now they get who? Now they get who? Tony DeAngelo. Nolan says, I would argue that Copp is better for two-way, but Vinny could help with some secondary scoring. Hopefully getting something more out of Laffy and Kako. Could be Rangers thinking perhaps. Yeah, I could see that. John Schneider to Toronto. Huge breaking news right there. Let's see. Interesting. I thought Heidel did well between Laffy and Kako, but I guess still not top 6 for Rangers. Yeah, I suppose not. As we're now 38 minutes into free agency. Let me take a look. I'd be curious to see what's up in Detroit right now. How is the Yzer plan looking when it comes to the salary cap and the pieces that they have that will need to get money in the near future, like Lucas Raymond and Maurice Seider. They have 25.396 minus 5.625. That leaves them with 19.771 million. Larkin needs a new contract next year, that's for sure, and he's going to get big money from his 6.1. Tyler Bertuzzi is going to need a raise. Pius Patrick Kane-Suter is going to get less. Oscar Sundqvist probably gets less. Adam Ernie gets less. Zadina is going to needs a contract for this season. Lucas Raymond's going to need one in a couple of years. Hronik's getting paid well. The defense is what's tough on Detroit for sure, but Gustav Lindstrom's going to be good. Moritz Seider is great already. Husso and Nedeljkovic is great for the goaltending. The forward core is a bit strong. Actually, sorry, the 5.625 was already included. So I think that was already removed from the projected cap space. My apologies. They have all their draft picks, a couple others as well. Things are going well in Detroit for the Yzer plan. I'll give you that. Oh, get the bot out of here. Thanks. Thank you very much. Let's go back to Twitter. 28 new tweets. Let's see. But not much. Just a lot of discussion here as it seems to have slowed down. Yeah. Let's go to the free agent frenzy tracker here. Detroit needs a left-handed D-man. How about Provorov for Bertuzzi? Interesting. So who are the signings of the day so far, starting from, I don't think it goes, does it go chronologically? I don't know, but from re-signing to free agent signings, here are the deals that we have seen so far in the NHL. Take a moment to read through those if you'd like. Of course, the biggest ones being Claude Giroux, Andrew Kopp, Vinny Trocheck, Jack Campbell, Robert Thomas re-signing, Evander Kane re-signing, Josh Manson re-signing. Lots of big moves in the NHL so far. Of course, you have yesterday's moves as well. That included Evgeny Malkin. Huge news there, as he was supposed to be a big fish in free agency. But the Penguins, Sidney Crosby actually, more specifically, got him to re-sign. I don't think there's anything else. Marco Kasper signing his entry-level deal. I think that's just about it there. Yeah, everything looking good here. Vinny T coming to Broadway. Yes, 7 years. 7 years. Roster player, draft pick, and prospect to San Jose. Athanasiou and Domi to Chicago. Thank you for reporting on that, Jiggle. Thank you very much. And you're exactly right, Yanni Pekka. You're exactly right. So it looks like the Chicago Blackhawks are going to be getting a couple of poor souls to go and play hockey for their so-called franchise. I don't mean to rag on the Blackhawks, but this is one of the biggest tanks I've seen in a while. So Athanasiou and Domi both signing for the Blackhawks, probably for big money to try and get them to the cap floor, honestly. So I don't think there's anything else that happened there. No. So a couple of players to fill out the lineup for Chicago. As let's see, Ilya Lyubushkin going to Buffalo as he leaves Toronto. They don't have the money to re-sign him. Oli Mata likely going to Detroit as well. So that's big for the defense. Big. They needed somebody, and he's somebody. So that's the type of thing that Detroit needed. The Cup signing a guy who couldn't handle the Cup is pretty on. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, Mason Marchman's gonna get good money as well. So that's good for Chicago. Yeah, I think that's just about it. Good. I'm still waiting to hear on those. Great deal for Kopp in Detroit as well. I like that a lot for Detroit. Really curious to see that Burns trade. That is really the biggest thing on my mind right now. It sounds like it's going to be a draft pick, roster player, and prospect going to San Jose per source. Yeah. Philly needs to do exactly what Chicago's doing, just that they don't want to dump all the picks to move on from people. They have because Chicago had good pieces to trade, and not horrible contracts aside from Seth Jones, who they've held on to. Philadelphia, if they want to do what Chicago's doing, they'd have to dump Couturier, they'd have to dump Cam York, they'd have to just dump everyone who has potential or is good, and just a complete clean slate, keep nobody, and just see what comes out of it. And I don't know if I see Philadelphia doing that. I think they still want to try and make a push, signing Tortorella and all that, but the push is not there. I don't see it. Carter Hart, Carter Hart, the poor guy's getting hung out to dry. And he could be good. It's just he doesn't really have support at all. and defensively. Look at Nick Leddy, who signed 4 years, $4 million per with the Blues. He's a speedy defenseman who carries the puck from end to end and makes passes in the offensive zone, but is otherwise a total liability at both ends of the ice. Looked good in the playoffs with 110 PDO while getting totally caved in. Wow. 17% in the wins above replacement, primary assists, penalties, competition, teammates. That's all great, but not great, not really good offense, not really great defense. Those are the things that matter the most. And in all, the projected wins above replacement, you play to win the game. You got to have players who can win the game. And Nick Leddy is a liability in that regard, but he can still, for $4 million, he's a second pair kind of guy. I don't know. The deals on Athanasiou and Domi are 1 year, $3 million per for both those contracts. So there's $6 million in the cap for the Blackhawks. Red Wings are signing Olli Maatta for 1 year, $2.25 million. So I feel bad for Olli Maatta. Burns trade. So it's going to be Burns to Carolina. We just don't know the details of it yet. Mr. Michalak. Yeah, the Blues. I don't know if I like that deal for the Blues. $4 million is not a ton, but 4 years, it's a commitment. It's a commitment. I want to look at Olli Maatta here. Mr. Maatta. He's had he was who was he? He was the draft pick from the Penguins, but there was a pick traded. Wasn't that a pick traded to the Penguins? 22nd overall? No, I'm thinking of somebody else, I think. Regardless. So he spent the last couple of years with the LA Kings. He's had some injury troubles for sure. He definitely blocks and hits. Well, more blocks. Let's see, in his career, 822 blocks in 534 games. So he averages over a block and a half per game. That has value for sure. But he's not the offensive. No, I don't think I've ever thought he was going to be a big offensive guy. But, he put up 30 points, 29 points in his rookie season. People thought he was probably going to be closer to that. He has 136 points in 534 games. So his 82 game average, 6.512. Doing the numbers, his average, he averages about 21 points a year, 20.88, according to my calculations. So he's still up there. But he was 5th place in Calder voting, and he never really did anything too crazy ever again. He's had a lot of injury troubles. I see Detroit being a good destination for him. Kind of just like, who's that other defenseman that went to Detroit? Chalowski. And kind of, when I think of Maatta, I kind of think of Dennis Chalowski. You think the Bruins deal Ullmark for cap space? I could see that with Jeremy Swayman being someone they can trust, and with the goalie market being hot, I could see that. But I don't know if Ullmark, I don't know if he has, on the Penguins, yeah, he was extremely good. I don't know if Ullmark has any type of no trade clause going on. Let me see what's up with no, actually he has no movement clause, a full no. 16 team no trade list. Okay, so he can be traded to half the teams in the NHL, basically. So that's not unmovable by any means. Back to Twitter here. Anything new? Josh Brown, 2-year deal to the Coyotes. Twin 1 year, $3 million deals for Athanasiou and Domi. Coyotes sign Troy Stetcher. 1 year, 1.2. Lyubushkin, 2 years at 2.75 per. I like that deal for Lyubushkin. He's good. And to Buffalo. So he went to Arizona, Toronto, and Buffalo. Interesting franchises. For Ilya Lyubushkin. What do they call him? The Bear? Maatta, a solid defensive defenseman, fits pretty well to the Wings bottom pairing if healthy. Yeah, I think that's a well-crafted explanation right there. Data, you better get me all pepped up before Johnny signs for the Devils. I think it's most likely. It's his most likely landing spot, I believe, in my opinion. As I mentioned earlier, when it comes to most likely landing spots, I think number 1 most likely is New Jersey. Number 2 is New York Islanders. Number 3 is anyone else. Number 4 is Philadelphia. And number 5 is Calgary, because I don't think he's not resigning in Calgary. That's just not happening. So that's the least likely, right? So second least likely, I think, is Philadelphia. Unfortunately, I really don't see that happening. It could happen if they wanted to, but they're not going to do it. because it's going to be too costly to move on from JVR. You know what? While we're here, let's just throw a little salt in the wound here. Let's go see Philadelphia and their salary cap situation. They have 3.451 to play with right now. They don't have their second round pick the next 2 years. Whew, yikes. Kevin Hayes making 7.1 till the end of 2026. JVR, Atkinson, these are tough contracts, man. These are tough contracts. Where's Sean Couturier? Is he on LTIR? Oh, that's one. Yeah, making 7.75 there. Ryan Ellis was good when he played, so hopefully he can bounce back a little bit in that regard. So that's true. Even with LTIR, yeah, I forgot about that. So wait, that's with them not using LTIR though. So I think they do have 3.4 to play with. So add Couturier. That means they have 10 forwards, 8D, 2 goalies. But Fedotov, I don't think he's coming to the NHL, unfortunately. Brizgalov's still dead cap? No, just Lindblom there. They're going to have to look to their youth a little bit here. It's going to be a tough year for Philadelphia. They'll definitely, I think it goes without saying that they'll very likely be a bottom 5 team. What else is up here? Back to Twitter. Thanasiu. Oh, you know what? Decent numbers here. He's a speedy middle 6 scoring winger who drops penalties and plays a run and gun style game. Hey, $3 million. Probably wouldn't have gotten $3 million anywhere else but Chicago, but why not? Max Domi's stock has plummeted in the past 2 years, but after he went like 70 points with Montreal, great trade. Even if Josh Anderson isn't great, say what you will about Josh Anderson, it was a great deal to get Domi out of there at the time that they did. Even though I didn't like it at the time, I do have to say. Continues to be one of the most efficient playmakers in the game. Hey, got to give it to him. 94th percentile for primary assists. Very poor defensively, but generates high danger passes and primary assists at a surprisingly elite race. NHL Rumours Daily is hearing Marchment in Carolina. Wouldn't put too much stock into that just yet. But the Hurricanes, especially if they move on from Jake Gardiner and that Burns deal, if enough salary retained, yeah, draft pick, roster player, and prospect going to San Jose. So it could be, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a second Jake Gardiner and Martin Necas. I could see that. I could definitely see that. Yeah, let's get back to the stream here. When will the Oilers hire a coach? No, they have their coach. It's that guy they had in the year. They gave him a 3-year contract, didn't they? Jay Woodcroft. Yeah, they signed. Yeah, 3-year extension on June 21st. He signed. So Jay Woodcroft is signed for 3 more years. Yep. There we go. I wouldn't. So it sounds like Eric Comrie to Buffalo, says Elliot Friedman. So Eric Comrie likely going to be, I guess, I don't know. What are they going to do over there? Yeah, that's odd. Because you have Craig Anderson signed up. You have Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, who has to play. The guy needs playing time. And you sign Eric Comrie? I don't know. Eric Comrie's kind of, maybe he's a third goalie type of thing, but that's a bit curious. Let me see Buffalo here. Buffalo Sabres. Because Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen's got to play. They have a lot of money. Come on. Craig Anderson. They have Ben Bishop's contract even as well. Malcolm Subban. Wait, did Malcolm Subban resign? Where did he go? I saw it. Sabres. Yeah, the Sabres signed Malcolm Subban. So the Sabres have Eric Comrie, Malcolm Subban, Craig Anderson, and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. That's 4 goalies for like 2.5 spots. Oh boy. Sharks trade is through. And Colin White goes to Florida. Brent Burns and Lane Peterson for Steven Lorentz, Itu Makiniemi, and a conditional 2023 third. Sharks retain 33% of the contract right here. Oh boy. Sorry, just looking back here. My apologies. So, yeah, sorry, that was just about Buffalo goaltending. We'll get to that in a second. But Brent Burns, Lane Peterson going to the Carolina Hurricanes for Steven Lorentz, goalie prospect Itu Makiniemi, and a conditional 2023 third round pick. The Sharks retain 33% of the contract. So let's check out Steven Lorentz here. Not the prospect that I thought it would be. I was thinking Martin Necas for sure, but maybe just not enough of a sweetener going back the other way for the Hurricanes to want to do that. 7th round pick in 2015. He's 26 years of age, had 13 points in 67 games. He's not really the big piece in this one at all, I don't think. Makiniemi. Let's see this goalie prospect. Fourth round pick in 2017. He played in Liga, had decent numbers. In the AHL this year with Chicago Wolves, he was very, very good. 11, 2, and 1 with a 922 save percentage and 2.06 goals against average. So that's a very good goalie prospect right there. I don't know. I thought the Sharks would have gotten a little bit more for that. And Lane Peterson goes back the other way as well. So the Sharks also give up Lane Peterson. Is that as much of a deal? Lane. Or is it with an... Oh, there it is. S-O-N. 24 years of age, 18 points in 22 games in the AHL this season. He was a free agent signing from the Coyotes. Yeah, okay, not a big deal there. But yeah, okay. That's a big deal for the Hurricanes, and I think they like that one very much. Colin White to Florida, 1 year, $1.2 million. I think that's a good deal for Florida as well. Good deal right there for Colin White. Ilya Mikheyev going to Vancouver, 4 years, $4.75 million. Big deals are coming down right here. And Eric Comrie signs for 2 years at $1.8 million. So he definitely not going to be like a third goalie. This guy wants backup time. So Mikheyev to Vancouver, Comrie to Buffalo, White to Florida, and the Burns trade through to the Carolina Hurricanes is official. Wow. Big moves right there all around. At 33% retained. News on the Bruins, not much besides the Haula Zaka trade. Big trade right there. So let's look at the salary cap situation now for the San Jose Sharks. For the Carolina Hurricanes, as they acquire Brent Burns at 33% retained. He's not here yet. No, we'll have to wait on that. But that means if he's making $8 million, that means he's going to be costing them 5.28. So 19.375 minus 5.28. That leaves him with just over 14 million to sign a Martin Necas, Ethan Bear, and a couple other pieces. They hang on to Jake Gardiner as well, so they're not trading him away in that deal. Oh boy. That's a big plus for the Hurricanes. They're going to be very happy to have Brent Burns on board. Wow. And then, of course, Ilya Mikheyev, 4 years at 4.75 to Vancouver. Hold on. All kinds of tweets are coming in now. Hold on. It's like 87 new tweets in that moment there. Yaroslav Halak going to be backing up Igor Shesterkin in New York. I like that very much. Very, very much. Yaroslav Halak will be a solid piece for the Rangers in New York. He's going to do well. He's one of the better and more consistent backups in the NHL. Mikheyev, X-Tech doesn't like that contract, but he's a very solid middle six winger, good impacts at both ends, who creates great chances with his speed, but has struggles to finish before exploding for 20 goals this season. I don't know. I like it. 79th percentile of wins above replacement, 88% on defense, 71 on goals per 60, 76 on offense. Not great on the power play, not great on finishing, I guess, but solid penalty killer as well. I don't think I hate that contract at 4.75 for 4 years for Ilya Mikheyev. Burns to Carolina, yes. Great deal for the Hurricanes, I think. I don't think it costs them that much. A goalie prospect, a solid goalie prospect, I will say, but I don't think it costs them really much more than that. Conditional third, Steven Lorentz, who wasn't anything too wild. I think that makes a lot of sense for the Hurricanes, and I think they're happy with that trade. If I'm the Sharks, if I'm a Sharks fan, I would have wanted a bit more maybe, especially if 33% of salary is being retained for a very good defenseman. Where does Mikheyev fit in? Yeah, that JT Miller trade may have to happen. Garland, Pettersson, Besser, Miller, Horvat, Kuzmenko, Hoglander, Podkolzin, X right here. Yeah, interesting right there. This is the Vancouver Canucks right now. I don't know if I'd say that Luke Shen is first pair D there, but boy. So big stuff happening here an hour into free agency. What's the likelihood of Boston re-signing Pastrnak versus trading him? That's tough. It sounded like Pastrnak being moved was something they wanted to get done, but with Bergeron coming back, Krejci coming back, I think they look at other stuff before Pastrnak being moved is their go-to. I say it's more likely he stays. Ramsey's, I think the dollar value on Mikheyev is a bit high, but still a good signing. I don't mind it. So Burns was on the Hurricanes 3-team trade list, so the deal did not need his approval. The Sharks home openers against Carolina as well. I'm just looking through some posts here on the Discord server. 4.75 though for Mikheyev. I don't know if I hate it. A lot of people aren't happy with it. I don't know if I hate it. Krejci, they're still in discussions to see if he's coming back. They're still in discussions. Let's see what has happened so far. Let's go right here. Hockey biggest fan. Let's see what happened so far. Taking it from the top here, we have Evander Kane, Claude Giroux, Josh Manson, Athanasiou, Domi. You can take a look at all of these different signings that have happened so far today. The Bruins signed AJ Greer for a 2-year contract right there. Curtis Lazar, Mikheyev, Jack Campbell to the Oilers, Ilya Samsonov to the Maple Leafs, Colin White to the Panthers, Vinny Trocheck and Yaroslav Halak to the Rangers, Kopp to the Wings. A lot of different moves happening that you can take a moment to read here if you would like. Very curious. Any news updates or rumors on Kadri? No, have not heard a single thing. I don't think it's being rushed. That's why. It's just he's talking with teams. There's nothing to really report on right now because he is talking with teams starting kind of today. So I think it's still going to be a few days till a Krejci signing happens. Krejci, I've seen it. It sounds like it's impending. It sounds like he's been talking at least more than last year. So I think a Krejci deal coming back seems likely, more likely than not at least. The biggest mind boggler of the day, though, is Buffalo having 4 goalies. That's what I don't understand. That's what I really don't understand. What's going on here? Ben Sherratt going to the Detroit Red Wings. That's big again for Detroit. They get Oli Mata. They get Ben Sherratt. They get Andrew Kopp. Detroit is starting to look like they're starting to take steps forward. I like it. Yaroslav Halak, a solid goaltending backup option for the Rangers. Very underrated. Yeah, I agree that. Very underrated. I agree with this. Carolina gets Burns on a reduced deal. San Jose gets rid of 2/3 of Burns' contract. But still not bad to get something for Burns rather than buying him out. Yeah, but I would have thought there would have been a bit more. What else do we got here? I think that's just about it. Me on cap friendly. I don't get how the Sabres are going to have Craig Anderson, Malcolm Subban, Eric Comrie, and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. They've signed like 4 goalies at like between $1 and $2 million each. I don't know. How does Vancouver afford Mikheyev? That's a good question. Let's check out their cap-friendly page here. What kind of money do they have left to play with after that Mikheyev trade? Signing? Do they have him signed up? Yes. So they are over the cap by 2.75 at the moment. Michael Furland on LTIR, yes. I guess, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, they haven't used LTIR yet. Yeah, so LTIR will allow them to go over the salary cap by 3.5, which means they have another like $800K to play with Michael Furland on LTIR. So that's how they're affording it, I suppose. But Big Bo, top 50, is going to need a lot of money next year. JT Miller has to be moving soon. Yeah. Starter for the Leafs right now is, well, who's the starter? I couldn't tell you, but the goalie tandem is Matt Murray and Ilya Samsonov. So the deal between the Oilers and Senators for Connor Brown will not involve Puljujärvi or Warren Fogle. They're looking for draft picks, according to Mark Spector. Just where does Mikheyev fit? That's the problem. Colin White here going to Florida. Let's see here on the Panthers. He is a bottom 6 defensive forward whose production nosedived after the Sens locked him up long-term. Interesting reclamation project right there. Nemesnikov back in Tampa, 1-year contract right there. The Coyotes are signing Nick Bjugstad to a 1-year deal, formerly a big name, has dropped off a little bit after his time in Minnesota, but he's going to Arizona on a 1-year deal. I like it. For them. Hold on, more tweets coming in. Always got to keep refreshing. 2.64 retained. Lean Peterson. So the Canes add a 6.11 mil cap hit. Is that it? I have to see what Cap Friendly has to say about that. Let's go back to the Hurricanes. Did they update the Hurricanes yet? Come on. No, not yet. So probably losing about 13-ish million to play with, right? I'd start Samsonov for the first 20 games. I wouldn't be surprised if Murray had better numbers after 20. Yeah, it'll probably be a mix back and forth until they start to figure it out a bit more. That's probably going to be what it is. So we'll probably start wrapping up the stream sometime soon. Not going to be here all afternoon, but I'm glad that we got the Burns trade taken care of, so we could see what the pieces coming back would be. Hurricanes, they have other pieces. I'm just scrolling through the Hurricanes prospects. They have Dominic Bach, Ryan Suzuki, Noel Gunler, Jameson Reese, Vasily Panamarev. I'm surprised the Sharks didn't get another name instead of Makiniemi. Kachetkov. But I don't know, the Sharks, they have Capo Kakinen, who they like, who's been doing well. That was a great pickup from the Minnesota Wild, I do have to say. Minnesota, I don't know if I like their goaltending situation after Marc-Andre Fleury as much, as they have $7.2 million in cap space right now. The Sharks do, but that's going to change over time. Yeah, Canes are good. They got a good future as well. They're looking good. So the Sharks will dump Brent Burns, retain salary, 33% of the salary there. Kevin LeBlanc staying with the team. Capo Kakinen is an RFA, though. That's the thing, eh? Does he come back? Do they go Kakinen Hill? Hill's making 2.175. That's real goalie money. That's a lot of money for Adin Hill, actually. Dead cap still. They have dead cap and Martin Jones, Rudolph Balcers, and Brent Burns now. So Mike Greer making moves in San Jose. How much is Samsonov making? He is making $1.8 million for 1 year. Actually, interesting card here from Jay Fresh and Oli Mata. He's a rock-solid defensive defenseman who makes up for a lack of foot speed and offensive creativity with a good stick and solid defensive awareness. 70th percentile for wins above replacement and 82nd for even strength defense, 92nd for penalty kill. I like that for Oli Mata and then Detroit Red Wings. The Yzer plan continues. Anaheim signing Frank Vetrano, 3 years, $3.65 million. Coming from Elliot Friedman right there, off to the Anaheim Ducks as they let go of Sam Steele. They let go of Sonny Milano. They signed Frank Vetrano for 3 years at $3.65 million per season. Nice little deal there for the Anaheim Ducks. Halak signing his contract, by the way, is for $1.55 million for 1 year. That Yaroslav Halak World Tour continues. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Adin Hill. Well, not that I'm a huge fan. I just don't think that's a lot of money for Adin Hill. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a lot of money. Yeah, it's a lot of money for Adin Hill. Big loss for the Rangers. And Frank Vetrano. Nice little payday there for Frankie. Yeah, with Anaheim. What else is new over here? Adam Gaudette going to the Toronto Maple Leafs for 1 year, $750K. So with the Maple Leafs signing Gaudette and Obi Kubel, that kind of just leaves, like, I don't know, Pierre Engvall on the outside looking in. They have 2.8 to play with, but I think that's and that includes Obi Kubel. So and Gaudette's already added. Oh, Adam. So $750K. So they have about $2 million to play with, and Rasmus Sandin is still an RFA. So that's going to be tough. That is going to be tough for the Toronto Maple Leafs. That is going to be tough. Michael Bunting's going to be expiring. A lot of guys expiring. The Maple Leafs going to be looking very different in 2023-24. That's for sure. Yeah, he was a part of some scandal, I believe. Adam Gaudette was. I don't quite remember it. 35 new tweets. They just keep on coming. Oh, no, that's not true. That's not true. Yeah, that got me for a second. Vetrano signing with the Anaheim Ducks there. 65th percentile. Goals per 60 in the 90th. He's there. He loves to carry the puck from the blue line to blue line, and shoot and score off the rush. Solid enough defensively. Middle six sniper. Did well in Florida. Gets his payday, and in New York. And he'll get his payday here with the Anaheim Ducks a little bit. $3.7 million for a guy who wasn't making that much in recent history, right? Vetrano. I don't believe his previous contracts were that much. 3.65 now. Yes, his entry-level deal. Then 1 year at $925. 3 years at 2.5, and now 3 years at 3.65. So hats off to Frank Vetrano. Not bad. Yeah, that tweet got me there for a second. So I'm sure more little moves will continue to come in throughout the day, but I think we're just about wrapping it up for this stream. The Adam Gaudette deal, it looks horrible, honestly. Fourth percentile there. He is a depth forward. Period. Send tweet. Not a big fan of Adam Gaudette, I do have to say. Frederick Clayson going to the KHL, minor league defenseman. I expect Kevin Weeks to be live from space for some of these FA drops. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. These graphics of Malkin did not age well. So I don't get this. Eric Comrie, 2 years at 1.8. I gotta write a tweet about this. I don't get this. No Palat news just yet. No Palat news. Colin White there. I haven't heard anything on Palat actually at all. Let's go to the I don't get the Sabres. Let me see. Buffalo, a team with not much to fight for this season. So here come the tweets. You can watch the live tweeting process with me. The Buffalo Sabres. Oh, hold on. Ooh, Sabres. Buffalo Sabres, a team with not much to fight for in 2022-23, now has 4 goalies. However, goalies under. Not sure why. Letty signed 4 years, $4 million. I don't know if you discussed it. Yeah, we did look at that. But I can take another quick look at the cap situation. We looked at it from a player point of view. Not the greatest signing, but the Blues do have $5 million to play with now. They have 11 forwards, 7D, and only shows 1 goalie, but they are signing Thomas Greiss at 1.3. So that means they have closer to 3.7 to play with. Vladimir Tarasenko still looking for a trade out. Jordan Kyrou will need an extension after this season. So all things to keep note of moving forward. Barbashev as well. So they're in a tough situation. I don't know if I would have signed Letty for 4 years, $4 million when I'm going to be a bit squeezed in the near future. So it's going to be a tight situation for St. Louis down the road, but they are a good team. It's not like they're a bad team in a tough cap situation. They're a good team in a tough cap situation. So there's the silver lining on that. Back to Buffalo here. I want to see their goalies again. Let's see. Eric Comrie at 1.8. Craig Anderson at 1.5. $1.5 million. 41-year-old Craig Anderson for some reason. Eric Comrie, $1.8 million. What did Malcolm Subban sign back for? Signed for $850K. Yes, he's probably fringe goalie, but he's probably the bottom of the 4, but still, he's there. Let's see. Corey Krug being moved, I could see that happen. And Vladdy trade has always been the Vladdy trade has been the Tarasenko still wants to move. He still wants to move. Nick Leddy, it's $4 million AAV for 4 years. So 4 years, $16 million contract. Ryan, the Avs cap right now with Manson signed for 4 years. What does that do for Kadri and McKinnon? Yeah, I'll take a look at that in just a moment here, Ryan. And who else here? Where's Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen? RFA. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. This is a tough name to spell. No, he's not under contract. Goalies in their system. Buffalo Sabres, a team with not much to fight for in 2022-23, now have 4 Most Sabres now have 4 Sabres in their system. Curious. Laughing emoji. And then we'll get to the Avalanche situation here. So I want to type that one out, put in the records that I'm, put it in the official world history that I'm wondering about what's going on. All right, Colorado Avalanche. Oh, hold on, a couple deals here. We'll look at Carolina and we'll look at Colorado in a moment. A couple deals coming through the system here. Breaking news: Sergachev signs an 8-year extension with the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's huge right there because a lot of people were curious as to whether or not they'd have the money. Brett Kulak re-signs in Edmonton. That's another big one right there. Lots of rumblings that John Klingberg and the Dallas Stars have re-engaged. Probably makes sense since they've missed out on Brent Burns. Absolutely. 4-year deal for Brett Kulak in Edmonton. I've waiver pickup by the Canadiens, right? Or it was a very cheap trade to acquire him, and he's having a great career now. Good for him. Other names in Vancouver may be on the way out there. Marchment to Carolina I had seen from Jiggles, but I'm not seeing it in the feed here. Is it Mason? Yeah, Pierre LeBrun said it. Not quite done yet, but looking like Mason Marchment to Carolina in a 4-year deal if it gets finalized. That was tweeted about before by the NHL Rumor account, eh? Hats off. Giroux says, I wouldn't sign here if I didn't think we could win the cup, so he's hopeful with the Ottawa Senators moving forward. So, yeah, there you go. That's the news right now. Coming back to the chat here. Yeah, 4 years for Marchment, 4 years for Kulak. Let me get back to Ryan's comment here with the Avs situation. So the Avs currently have $9.16 million to play with, but you do have to keep in mind the McKinnon extension moving forward. JT Comp, these are easier deals to replace down here, but they're still roster players who will need to get paid. Alex Newhook's going to need his extension. Arturi Lehkonen currently unsigned. Johnson will be money that's freed up moving forward, and your goaltending is taken care of. The Avalanche just need a couple more forwards, really, but I don't think all the money would go to Kadri. I don't think they can afford that because then you have 11 forwards with Lehkonen out. You'd have to you have to call up Jean-Luc Foudy. I don't know. Shane Bowers making the NHL. It'll be tight. I don't think I see the Carolina Avalanche going for Kadri because you have to keep in mind the McKinnon extension as well. But they do have 9.16 to play with right now. McKinnon should get extended, no problem. And the core will stay together. Gerard's on a great contract. Manson signed long-term. Devon Tays for another couple of years. You got to save your money for Byram and Newhook and guys like that. So I don't think Kadri is going to happen in Colorado. Chernak and Cirelli likely also getting extensions with Tampa Bay, it's sounding like, as we also see the 8-year extension for Mikhail Sergachev in Tampa, waiting to hear an AAV on that. Kulak signs 4 years, 2.75 per. So Jack Campbell at least has someone standing in front of him on the blue line. 95th percentile in even strength defense. He's an excellent first defenseman. I always loved him on the Canadiens. He was very underrated. So I think this is a very nice signing for the Oilers. And the Canadiens got a good trade for him. $8.5 million per year for Mikhail Sergachev in Tampa Bay. So another dagger to the heart of all the Drew Wayne for Sergachev trade remembrances there, remembering that. So that's a lot of money, though. That's a lot of money for Tampa Bay, a team that's very tight in the cap. Obviously it's an extension, so it's not what they're going to be paying him this year, I believe, because it's the last year of his contract, correct? Yes. So it's going to be moving forward. Next year they get, they're going to re-sign Cirelli. Kaloran probably walks. Nemestikov probably walks. Ross, I don't know. Belmar and Perry probably walk. Now, they know what they're doing over there, but it's going to be tight. It's going to be another NHL minimum type contract for a backup goalie. And after this season, they only have Hedman, Sergachev, and Bogosian on defense. So that's going to be tough as well. They need to get that Chernak extension done. It's tight in Tampa Bay. They're already 6.4 over the cap. Brent Seabrook allows them to go 6.8. So that leaves them with about $400K right now this season to play with. They can't really do anything else this year. Tampa Bay Lightning have another $600K. So yeah, it is tough. It is tough. Great move by the Oilers, though. I like that deal a lot for them. Brett Kulak. I'm a big Brett Kulak fan. I'll give it to them. What else we got here? I wonder what PK Subban's going to do today. Good old PK. I think that was a little flurry of information there, but I think that's going to be just about it. I think I'm going to start thinking about wrapping it up here because we could go out all afternoon. I'm sure much will continue to happen into the afternoon. And unfortunately, I cannot sit here all afternoon because I got to get work done. But I would, maybe one day in free agency, I could sit here all day long when the channel continues to grow. But, the channel does continue to grow. So thank you to those who are able to stop by today. As we were at one point, we're at like 50 people watching at once. We're at 30 plus right now. So not always real life hockey. It's mostly franchise mode in the virtual world of hockey with career simulations. We did the Yuri Slavkovsky, the Shane Wright Kraken career sims coming out soon, NHL 22 franchise mode, 07 dynasty mode, MLB The Show 22 franchise mode, all that stuff in the virtual world. But also fun to get the real world live streams and analysis and breakdown videos. So thank you to all of you who are excited and willing to be here to listen to all of that. Very much appreciated. And I hope that it has been an enlightening time as we've been going through a lot of these rumors, going through the numbers, going through the salary cap, not just reporting, but actually looking into it a little bit more deeply. Mikhail Sergachev in the 46th percentile of projected wins above replacement. Let's see. Provided Lightning with strong puck moving and a solid two-way game en route to 2 cups. I'm not sure he's been an elite number 1 for them, though, which he will now be paid as. So it's a lot of money for Sergachev, I do have to say. 8 by 8.5, it's a lot of money. Primary assists per 60 is great. Offense is good. Defense is so-so, and he's below, the 50th percentile right there. So I'm sure he's just gonna get better over time, especially playing with Victor Hedman and all that. But he will eventually be the guy in Tampa Bay, and he's gonna get paid as that as well. So hopefully he can come through as that guy because is he the highest paid defenseman? Hold on, what's Hedman being paid? Yeah, that's true, eh? Hedman's being paid 7.875. So obviously, it had to do with cap percentage at the time when Hedman signed his contract. The cap percentage made a lot of sense, but he is now he's tied for third highest paid. Or no, he's tied for fourth highest paid. Well, actually, Kucherov, Point, and Vasilevsky are all tied for highest paid. Then Stamkos and Sergachev are tied for second highest paid on the Lightning. Thanks a lot, Mr. Michaelak. Thank you for being here. So go ahead and wrap it up momentarily. We've lost a few people now as I'm just wrapping it up. There's a lot of other streams to check out on YouTube, a lot of great other sources where people are talking free agency all day long. So I would encourage you to check those out as well. Dustin Tokarski, speaking of Buffalo goalies, my pleasure, Nolan. Speaking of Buffalo goalies, Dustin Tokarski signing with the Pittsburgh Penguins on a 1-year contract right there. Mason Marchment, 4-year deal happening soon. John Klingberg and the Dallas Stars are talking extension again. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Klingberg goes back to Dallas. I'm a big John Klingberg fan, and I think he's a good fit on that team as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if they end up hammering something out. They didn't get it done because they wanted to take a run at Brent Burns. It didn't work, and now here we both are. Maybe it cost them a little bit more. I don't know, but John Klingberg definitely has a lot of people talking to him right now. So I think that's just about it. There's going to be more breaking news throughout the day, absolutely. But I think we'll wrap it up there, close to the 2-hour mark. A lot of big news around the NHL. The final recap right here. If you are just seeing it now, I'll give a little refresh here. NBC Sports doing well to keep track of all of that. Started with the Evander Kane re-signing. Big moves right at 12 o'clock as Claude Giroux and Jack Campbell signed on. All these names down the list that you could take a pause and look at if you'd like. Some entry-level deals happening. Lightning doing a big extension there. Robert Thomas, big extension right there as well. Colin White, Vincent Trocheck, Jack Campbell, Brett Kulak, Ilya Samsonov, Andrew Cobb, Victor Olofsson, many players and many more to come this off season. So I'm sure there'll be more live streams and more analysis videos in the very near future as more big deals happen, especially when Johnny Gaudreau signs for sure. That'll be a big one there, probably coming in the next week or two. I'm sure he's going to take his time for it. Nazem Kadri as well. 2 big fish that are still out there. So thank you very much, everybody, for taking the time to listen. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to leave a like. And if you haven't already subscribed, be sure to do so that you're made aware of all those uploads when they go live, breaking news as it happens. Thank you very much, Ramses. A wonderful rest of your day to everyone else here. Sunny July day, I hope. Enjoy the outside. Enjoy Free Agent Frenzy. Crazy time now in the hockey world. Much more to come. And we will talk soon. So thank you very much once again for taking the time to listen, and enjoy the rest of free agency.